And there they go.
Penultimate leg of the late pick 4 sequence at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, March 19th. This is a non-graded 6 furlong Hutcheson Stakes, field of 7 3-year-olds sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track, including the number 5 Provocateur at 3-1, the second choice for trainer Todd Pletcher. Jockey Irad Ortiz Jr., also a horse that I have a small ownership with through my racehorse. So, Mike, let me ask you, will Provocateur give me my first Gulfstream Park win as an owner in the Hutcheson Stakes?
No. Not going to happen. Honestly, Provocateur is my second pick in here, so it could happen. It's plausible. It's one of those spots where you like, I don't want to take the 4 Nitrous Channel, because Nitrous Channel ran a monster number, 94 buyer, has huge early time form rating, 117, but that was a maiden special weight race. Not really sure what the horse faced, right? You do have one next out winner at least coming out of there. But there's really not that much in this race. And kind of when you run through it, you've got some speed on the 3 Golden Wand, who's got 97 early time form pace. But the last time they tried to get this horse on turf, and it ended up raining off turf, and ended up on dirt. And it's just, the horse didn't run very well. And this is supposed to be the pace pressure to a horse that just looked very, very sharp in debut. Was able to clear and just kind of gallop out for George Weaver. It's the son of Nyquist. Sold for $625,000 at auction. You'd be pretty surprised if this one, the B effort probably wins this race for Nitrous Channel. And that's the issue, right? Now, if I was going to take anyone to take a big step forward, it would be the 5 Provocateur coming out of the Pletcher barn. You've got Irad up, all the connections fit. You could easily see this horse take a step forward. It needs to be a big step forward, and Nitrous Channel needs to take a step backward. The only way I see Nitrous Channel doing that is getting pace pressure, and I'm not sure where that comes from.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Is Nitrous Channel going to bounce, or is he not? I singled him in the $5 play, and I went 4-5 in the 50 center, and it's pretty boring. But I think Nitrous Channel is going to get bet way down below 7-5. He could be under. Yeah. Well, you've got Provocateur in the My Racehorse owners. He'll be about even money. We'll say Provocateur is going to get his fair share. But to build off of Nitrous Channel a little bit, I did some diving, because you see with Weaver, he's like, was that 3 for 44? He's 7% out of 44. Last attempts in the last two years with winning next out with the same horse. So I extended that out to 5 years. Like, maybe he's a little cold. In the last 5 years, 15% first-time starters, 17% overall when the horses attempt to repeat wins, and 22% with the debut winners next out. 3 of those 5 horses in that sample did so in stakes, including Vekoma, and he was a multiple grade 1 winner. So clearly, Nitrous Channel, future grade 1 winner. Seriously, though, I do love the fact that George Weaver and the owners, they did not get crazy with this horse. You could have easily seen him get that 94, and they're like, we're going to the Florida Derby, we're going to the Bluegrass. It's Derby season. That's exactly what happens, and they didn't do it with him, and they're being patient, and I like that, but maybe that scares some people too, because they're like, well, maybe they don't think he's that good.
Well, I'm surprised this race isn't at a mile. That, to me, is what was, because, like, this is Nyquist out of a Fleet Alex mare. This is a horse that's bred for 2 turns. I'm surprised they're not trying to go a longer 1-turn race, because the debut effort was 6 furlongs. This is a 6 furlong race. Surprised they didn't try to stretch this horse out a little bit so that you could go to Lexington. You could go to, one of the later preps, Arkansas Derby, one of the late preps, and try and squeeze that in right before the Derby to get points if this horse does absolutely air again. To me, it's really... I don't think we already know the horse can sprint, right? So I'm not worried about the fact that they didn't place this horse in a bigger, more marquee race. I think the horse still has a boatload of talent, and he's going to be awfully tough in this spot.
So a field of 7 here. We both agree 4 is the top pick, 5 is the second choice, just a matter of how you want to use them on your tickets here. But let's go through the field real quick. Start on the rail with the 1 Sport Pepper. Haven't seen since the Mucho Macho Man Stakes, when second last beaten 17 3/4 lengths. The horse raced 8 times, I guess, at 2, and then that 1 race there. Any interest whatsoever?
No, not really.
No, this seems like we're going to give it one last shot before we have to start dropping down in class and maybe circuit for this horse. The 2 American Sanctuary is a horse that maybe I'd be a little interested in if he wasn't exiting the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, where not only is that race just bad, he was bad in it. So I'm going to pass on him. But it is interesting. Jose Ortiz is going to jump aboard in his 3 for 5 for trainer Chris Davis right now.
Yeah, Jose Ortiz jumping aboard is interesting. I have issues with the cutback here mainly. This horse was not close to the pace in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile or the Breeders' Cup Futurity, 7 and 9 lengths off respectively of 46 halves. How far back are we going to be tomorrow, or Saturday? This is not going to be one of those situations where he's any closer to the pace, and I don't think there's enough pressure that anyone's coming back to him.
I look at I don't even remember him running in those races, but I look at the trip note and says checked inside or off slow, but still, like, that was 25 flat, 24 and 3. Like, between Sophie Doyle and Florent Giroux, neither of them could figure out, put the gas on this horse. Maybe just didn't want to do it. The 3 Golden Wand we haven't seen since the Armed Forces Stakes last year, which was his first defeat in 3 starts. Definitely feels like a sprinter, a good spot for a return, but this feels like a huge test against the 4 and the 5 and the 7 at least.
Yeah, that was my main thing. I thought this race came up pretty tough here. And Golden Wand, if you go back and you look at the 6 furlong win over the Slop, that was a nice race specifically for a 2-year-old, like mid 2-year-old season there. But you need to project quite a bit of improvement. And this race came back tough. I think those 2 things really hurt Golden Wand's chances.
You've also got a horse that was bought for $1,500 with a very modest sprinter pedigree and has already earned $54,000. So they're playing with house money at this point with him. We talked about the 4 and the 5, how much we like them. 2 more to go through. The 6 Desert Ruler, 20-1, co-longest shot with the 1 Sport Pepper. A Candy Ride, son of Candy Ride, who just really has not seemed to figure things out. However, you can point back to Broken Bait and going 5.5 furlongs, but that was July as a 2-year-old, and really haven't seen anything good since then.
No, I mean, the race facing Golden Wand was not bad, but that was the last effort of the 2-year-old season, or second to last effort of the 2-year-old season. Last 2 races runs into AP Secret, who we saw in a Derby race last weekend, and In Due Time, American Icon Ironsworks, the next race out, last out. That came back a very tough race, but I think that you have maybe not that caliber, but you have very good horses in here again, so it's going to be tough for Desert Ruler to flip the script.
And Of a Revolution is a Safi Joseph horse that he thinks has got a lot of potential stakes-wise. You could almost argue that he leaves those optional claiming races, 3 of them, and takes a class drop into this 6 furlong stakes race just based off of who he was facing, especially with that In Due Time, how he's done out of there. The 7 Cat, and this is the only stakes winner in the field, and he did it going 6 furlongs. He did it at Tampa in the inaugural stakes, was actually 3rd behind Provocateur in the Pasco Stakes last time out. They're both cutting back to 6 furlongs. I like it for Provocateur. I don't know that Amicio getting back in the saddle is going to make the difference for Catton.
This would be the other one I'm interested in. I think the 7's an interesting horse here because I do think you have tactical speed. You have success over the track. That you've got a decent amount of seasoning here in 5 races that you've seen enough from the horse. You know that the horse can improve, and you also have not seen enough to the point where you could still logically say the horse has the ability to improve because it's still learning. We're getting 3rd off the layoff, 3rd in this form cycle. To me, the 7's a little bit interesting.
That's true. I also look at Ralph Nix, and I'm like 16 for 51. Jesus, like, where did this come from? 31%. Have you been riding the Ralph Nix train at Gulfstream?
Not as much as I should have, I guess. I didn't realize he was popping at 31%.
I'm like, wait a minute. Do I need to add this horse onto my on a 50-cent ticket?
I mean, if you're using Provocateur, I think that Catton has every chance to take as big of a step forward, if not bigger than Provocateur.
One last note on Provocateur, not that matters that much, but Todd Pletcher, even though he's been pretty ice cold at Gulfstream, won this race a record 7 times, and this is his only horse that he's trying for number 8. So I do like it when a trainer's won a stakes race a shit ton of times and is like, you know what? I just only need this one horse this one time to try and get it.
This has been a presentation of RacingDudes.com, your destination for all things horse racing and sports betting. Whether you want free winners, expert insider picks, up-to-the-minute trackside weather reports, or podcasts and videos for bettors of all skill levels, never make another wager without visiting the Racing Dudes. First,